Welcome to Meet Your Needham Merchants. My name is Mark Silverman. Today we're at Griswold Home Care. Let's take a walk in and meet Jane and Roberta. Hi Jane, hi Roberta.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to see you both. So tell me a little bit about the home care industry. What does that mean? What is home care?
Home care allows someone to age in place, to remain in their own home, safe and independent, and not have to go to another facility at any point in their life. In addition to that, it also is for someone who just needs short-term help. Perhaps they've had day surgery and they don't feel comfortable at home alone anymore, and they want someone to come in for a short period of time.
And what is Griswold? How does that come into play?
Griswold was started by Jean Griswold, who did an overnight sitting service for people who just didn't want to be at home alone or in a nursing home alone at nights. So they would go and sit with someone or helping people do what they need to do.
We do homemaking, we do personal care, and we do companionship.
Our caregivers are certified nursing assistants, home health aides, and companions.
What are some of the needs of your clients? What are the reasons that many of your clients call you?
They vary. We work with many people with Alzheimer's. We also work with people with other dementias, with ALS, with MS, with hospice and heart problems, as well as, sadly, the increase in the amount of cancers, that people don't want to be alone at home.
Is there any data regarding the age of the people that you assist? Has the average age increased, decreased, no change?
Sadly, again, I think it's become younger, that we've been able to help many people who have been diagnosed with cancer who, for example, with breast cancer, and the women don't want to be at home alone, or they have the kids running around and they need help to do what they need, and the husbands must return to work. We go in and help a lot of those too. And there's many great organizations out there that we work with.
And the other thing is that we are very good with respite care. Many times those who are looking after their loved ones really need a break, whether it be 1 hour, a weekend, 2 weeks, so they can go away feeling assured that their loved one will be safe and comfortable and that someone will be taking care of them.
Well, it seems like for all these services, you must have quite a large team. How many employees do you have at the company?
We have, with including caregivers, over 100.
And in this office here, what happens? What are the functions that the people outside here are performing today?
Today we're touching base with each client that we do have, as well as taking calls, talking to caregivers, making switches, whatever needs, from hand-holding to whatever the needs are.
How did you choose the town of Needham when you were establishing your business?
Well, actually Jane had established the business, so she can answer that.
I was living in Needham. My children are all products of the Needham school system, and it's always been a comfortable, warm, and welcoming community. And we felt it's important to be community, and we try and work within the community as much as possible. Roberta, her designation is as community liaison, getting out into the community. Could you speak further to that?
Yes, and I myself are involved representing Griswold with the Rotary, with the Triad, with the Needham Business Association. And I find that Needham is a community that involves all its people. It's very tight. A lot of people know each other and they care about each other. And so I will bring information back to the office. I will share it with all our staff, and then we will bring back information to the community. We have a lot of educational materials, and we will share that with the different parts and different communities also.
There's so many different businesses that you could have got into. There's so many different businesses that you could have started. Why home care?
Truthfully, because my parents were in need of home care. My parents, although mentally and emotionally were still well, physically their bodies were falling apart, and they no longer could do the day-to-day functions, the activities, the daily living, the personal care. So my brother and I searched for a company to help them do this. And 20-some years ago, there weren't a lot of companies doing this kind of work. So we got in it to help other people like our parents.
Where does most of your business come from?
Most of it, interestingly enough, comes from word of mouth, from past clients. We've been in business for 21 years, and past word of mouth of people telling people.
Now, I know you're very involved in Needham. You're based in Needham. But if there were a Needham resident that had a family member or friend in another part of the country that needed assistance, are you able to help them through the Griswold network?
The Griswold network is fantastic, and not only do we cover all of Massachusetts, there's a Griswold office that can help you, but throughout most of the country. And if not, we'll work to find a resource that can.
So you're a resource for locals even if the demand isn't local.
And if they need other services too, it doesn't just have to be home care. We have quite a network that we can reach out and take advantage of and help people, and that's what we'd like to do.
Fantastic. And what are some of the things that you do differently maybe than some of the other home care companies? What is your competitive advantage? Why do people use your service rather than others?
I consider Griswold Home Care to be one of the best, if not the best. We have a proprietary caregiver screening process where the caregiver actually comes into the office, fills out our paperwork, speaks to us. We check not only their yearly CORI, which is their criminal investigation background, and their SORI, which is their sexual orientation background, to find out if there's any abuse. We find out if they're legal to work in the United States. We actually speak with references that people they have worked for in the past, so as well as friends, and we listen for those innuendos of things that perhaps they wouldn't be the best caregiver. And so legally, experientially, that they're the best that they can be. Griswold does stand by our standards of excellence. We will change caregivers if it's not the right caregiver. It's one thing we here at Griswold have always been very adamant about, that if a caregiver comes in to work with you or to service you, and they're not right for whatever reason, it doesn't fit from both the caregiver and the client perspective, then we'll work to switch that caregiver to the one that works for you. Every client is different. There's no expectation that anyone fits into a mold.
So if somebody is searching for a home care provider, what are the most important things somebody should be looking for? You talked about the CORI checks, the criminal background checks. That's very important. How do they compare your company to others?
Interestingly, I mean, that's part of the package. That's part of who we are as far as what our caregivers do, the CORI checks, the legality checks, the experiential background. But what a company should feel, an individual should feel comfortable with the company that they're dealing with, because they need to deal with us on an ongoing basis. Sadly, people don't remain at the same level, and they may need more care. They need to feel comfortable to call us, but we also reach out to them frequently. We do home visits at least quarterly. Unless there's a problem, we'll do it more frequently. We call at least every 2 weeks, if not, and sometimes we call several times a day, or they can call us. So comfortability is a very important thing. Sadly, price is very important, especially in the economy today. We have maintained prices to hopefully be able to help as many elderly and seniors and people in need of help that we possibly can. Our rates are published rates. We don't do fly-by-night rates. Those are things that are important for people right off the top to know that can happen, to know what they are.
We do not charge extra for nights or weekends, and that's very important because we cover everyone for that particular price. Our idea of home care provides not only affordability, but when we take care of a client, we are very conscious of who they are. We have already taken an intake of that client, meaning we've talked to that client. We know what that client needs, and then we can pass that on to the caregiver. So it's never anything unusual. It's very, very seamless. Our caregivers are extremely compassionate. They've been with us for many, many years. And when we take care of a client, we take care of the whole client. We just don't say, well, this is companionship. This might be companionship, this might be any type of personal care. We take care of everything. So you have to be very assured that when we're with the client, there's a daily contact with that client. There'd be a daily contact with our care managers. If you need to call somebody, we're available 24 hours a day.
What's different today from 5 years ago or 10 years ago?
I think the industry now has scrutinized the caregivers more than they ever have, so that the clients can feel very safe knowing the caregivers are coming in, being bonded and being insured, and having an intense background check, which we do. I think that there are many, many more seniors out there. I think that the seniors now are internet savvy. that they're more aware of what we have to offer as a company, not only our company, but any other home care company. I think that they have a lot of adult children that are looking out for them too. And at one time there was nobody, they just sort of looked around.
What are the future trends? How will things be different next year and 5 years from now? What are some of the predictions or some of the trends that you foresee?
Well, I wish I had a crystal ball, but in thinking in those terms, we know the baby boomers are aging in place too. And some of them people are living longer. People are having more viable, active lives for longer periods of time. But sadly, there are still chronic diseases and cancer and heart attacks and things like that people instantaneously need help. They may go into the hospital for a period of time and then they come out. There's a continuum of care. There's also skilled nursing agencies that will go in after someone's left the hospital, and then they need to turn, when those benefits are done, or they've used up their benefits, they can come to an agency like us to help maintain their safety and independence at home.
You're certainly in a very serious business, but I'm sure there may have been some entertaining or funny stories that have occurred over the years. Could you share one of those with us?
Well, one of our first stories that we also bring to mind is we were caring for a woman in a nursing home whose son lived in another state, and we would go in several hours a week and take her out to lunch and just get her out of the nursing home. One day she turned to the caregiver and she said, "Could we go visit someone?" And the caregiver said, "Absolutely, where would you like to go?" And what happened was we took her to yet another nursing home where her sister was, who she had not seen in many years. And she was able to visit with her sister. And from that point on, it became a weekly habit. Our caregiver would go pick up sister number 1, and they would go visit sister number 2. And that was a beautiful story because they hadn't seen, and I don't even think we're able to converse on the phone because of hearing difficulties, and we're able to touch base again. We also do things like, you said one, but we also do things like someone's getting married and the mother is caught in the middle. She's truly a member of the sandwich generation. So she's taking care of kids and she's taking care of her parents, and she might even be taking care of grandkids. And when the daughter's daughter gets married, we take care of the grandmother so the mother of the bride can really enjoy the day. And we'll go to the wedding, or a caregiver will go to the wedding and help with the grandmother, grandfather, whatever is necessary, and allow everyone to enjoy the day.
You had talked about being internet savvy. If people would like to learn more about your company, do you have a website?
We do. It's www.griswoldhomecare.com. And I would just like to give you our phone number. Many times people don't have a computer or they're not sure what a website is. So our phone number is 781-449-0402, Griswold Home Care. And thank you very much.
Well, thank you for all of your contributions to the town of Needham. Thank you for all your effort.
Thank you, sir.
Nice meeting you both.
Nice meeting you. Thank you.